Man, please. He owns it. He claims it. There's no need to prove it.
It's okay. You'll come back tomorrow.
I tried digging up a bush yesterday. Big mistake. I saw a guy on TV yesterday. I swear he drew his beard on with a dull Sharpie. Start spreading the news. Yeah. Can a brother get a sandwich up in here or something? The cops and the firemen were kicking each other's butts. Man, please. Man, please. Man, please. Man, please. Can we get on with it?
All right. Good day, everybody. You're listening to the Man Please Show. I'm your host, Trog. Glad to be here with you today. It's Monday, March 23rd, 2015. It's a beautiful day out. Feeling pretty good today. Got a really good topic. If you're listening, I don't know if you can see the title. If you're listening live, if you're able to see the title. But the title of today's show is You Might Be a Racist If ... Yes, I'm gonna take on a real sensitive topic for everybody. Racism in America. I have some news to report on racism in America. You know, at one time, I believed that racism was pretty much over with. You know, there wasn't, I mean, I knew that there were still racists in the world, but mainstream racism I thought was pretty much done. But guess what? America, we're still racists. I should have had applause ready. That's nothing to, brag about, is it? But I have come to the very sad conclusion that that's the truth. We are still a racist country. And I'll explain to you, I'll give you the reasons why I feel this way. And my opinions are based solely on my personal observations. Now, my opinions are mine alone. They don't reflect anybody else, even in my own life. I let them express their own opinions on racism. And so today's show is strictly based on my observations, nothing more, nothing less, in my life, in different areas of my life. And so that being said, like I said, I've determined that racism is alive and well. It's just gone underground. It's on the down low now. It's not cool to be a racist anymore. See, when I was a kid, I was born in 1961. So in 61, here, I'm adjusting my mic, sorry for this crazy noise. In 61, racism was much cooler. You know, it was okay to be flamboyant about your racism. You know, it was accepted in so many places that, and I'm talking specifically about white and black. And I know there's other racisms that exist for Hispanics and for Asians and for all different cultures. There's racism for those, but I'm specifically referring to whites and blacks, because that's where my evidence is, and my experiences and my observations. And I do this show 2 times a week, Monday and Wednesday, from 6 to 6:30. I don't really get paid for it. You know, I like to say, oh, yeah, I'm a professional broadcaster. But right now, it's really just a hobby. But I went to school for it, so it's not like I was sitting at home one day saying, oh, you know what, I think I want to be a radio personality. No, I went to school. I went to Forsyth Tech and took broadcasting and production technology. So, well, I forget where I was going with that. Anyway, oh yeah, so I only do this right now as a hobby because I don't get paid for it on the Man Please show. I only get paid if I have advertising, and I haven't landed any advertising jobs yet. I mean, advertisers. So I have to work another job. It's a part-time job. I work, and it's important to know where I work because this is kind of the point, part of the point that I'm making. I work at a golf course. And it's out in the country. It's not a mainstream. It's not in the city. You know, it's not a country club. It's out in the country. It's a public course, and we have golfers of all nationalities out there. And I've worked there since June of last year. And to my complete and utter dismay, because I guess I've just surrounded myself by people who are not racist. I was raised by parents who were not racist, and I'm so glad I was, because I do believe racism is taught. You're not born a racist. It's taught. You choose it. I mean, you're taught, but as you become an adult, then it becomes a choice. You know, a child really doesn't have a choice. He follows what he's instructed. But an adult has a choice because you're not forced to be a racist. And so my father was in the Air Force, and he, although his brothers are racist, but he isn't. My father and my mother wasn't. And so they raised me in that way. And racism was not accepted in my parents' home. And I'm so glad. My mom told me a story that I think is kind of funny and cute because I was a little child. But when I was old enough to be able to go out, I lived on Air Force bases. My father was in the Air Force. So I lived on Air Force bases. And I was allowed to go out and play because it was much safer then than it is now. And my mom said that I came in the house one day, and she corrected me afterwards, but I didn't know any better. I came in the house one day and asked my mom if my blue friend could come in and play with me. So I only assume that that's the way I described. I wanted her to know which friend I wanted to come in the house. And I don't know why I said blue. Although I have heard that the shades of African Americans can get so dark that they can look blue. I don't know. But that's what I said. And she corrected me. But I've never really been exposed to racism until I actually became an adult. Because my father was in the Air Force. He had a career there. He was in for 23 years and retired, and I went all the way through school and graduated like 2 years or 2 years after he retired, I graduated from high school. And so I've been exposed to practically every nationality in the world, just about, a lot. And being a military person, I didn't really experience racism because racism was something that is really not tolerated. It's not supposed to be, and it wasn't then. I don't know about now. I'm not in now, but it wasn't accepted. You could get in a lot of trouble for it. And so I was raised by non-racist parents. And that's the way I raised my children. My children are not racist either. So, you know, I just wasn't exposed to it until I became an adult. And then it was just every now and again, somebody I would encounter would use the N-word or make a racial comment, and I was kind of taken aback. I didn't really know how to respond to it. And then I noticed that, and I don't care. Nobody in my family listens to my show, but I have a cousin that I exposed as a racist because, and he hates me to this day, and I don't care. I can live with that. But I exposed him because he came to a place that I asked him to come to and give me an estimate, and it was my church, and I went to a church that was predominantly black. And I was the buildings and grounds person, and they needed a new air conditioning system, so I asked him to come out and give me an estimate, along with 2 other companies. And while he was there, he made a comment, a racial comment, and there was people around. They weren't real close, but it's possible they could have heard, and it upset me. And so in the process of telling the board what all the bids were, his was the lowest, and so I knew that they were going to probably go with him, so I told them what he said. I said, look, y'all have the right to know that he said this. I believe that he is a racist, and so with that information, y'all make your decision. They chose him anyway. And so he found out about it because I told his brother in confidence. And then he turned around and told him, and he's hated me ever since. And like I said, I don't care. But, you know, I've had little exposures like that, and I've come to realize that, you know, maybe I was wrong. And then I went to work at this golf course. Lordy, lordy, lordy. I keep doing this, don't I? I'm going to stop that. I'm working on these things. Sorry about that. So I started working at this golf course. And my gosh, the racism, even though it's still on the down low, and I'll tell you why, it's rampant. It's moved from the big city. Well, I don't know that it's moved, but as far as it's rampant. It's gone out into the boondocks. It's gone out into the country, which that may be where it's always been. But, you know, I was really, really surprised at the amount of racism. And, you know, what's funny to me is because of the way I look. I have a shaved head, and I have a motorcycle gang kind of goatee. So I look the part, if you know what I mean. So just by my looks, so many people just assumed I was in their camp. Oh, this is one of us here. Look at him. He got the bald head and the goatee. He's a hell raiser.